News Talk 1240.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
Yes, it is. Thank goodness that Ashley Madison's going out of business, because I picked up one of their voice models, and that's who does my intro now. Got her cheap, too. I mean, it was almost nothing there. You're listening to the Mr. Judd Show. My name is Eric Judd. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, the hottest, the newsiest, the talkingest radio station in Chattanooga, bar none. I challenge anyone out there to challenge us on that. As always, you can pick us up at hotnewstalkradio.com, or if you have the TuneIn app, it's free. It's free. And did I say it's free? It is simple. Very free. That way you can keep up with us anywhere you go. And always follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And that's Hot News Talk Radio. That's Twitter and Facebook. I am joined by the hottest rising star here at the radio station, the one and the only Keon Rose, who is the host of Clutch.
Nice to be here.
Yes, nice to have you, Keon. How are you today?
I'm doing very, very well.
Well, I've listened to your show in the afternoon, and you've done a great job. I won't say taking over or subbing in for Tex, because it's two totally different shows. But I'm looking forward to your show that starts on Monday.
Yeah, I'm moving to 1 o'clock. I have been filling in for Tex. I'm not taking over a spot.
Now, I don't know if you're filling. Those are pretty big boots to fill.
Literally.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, he's what, 6'8"? Tex is probably 6'8" and goes 320. One big muscle. And I'm not talking about between the ears either. I'm talking about he's a big man of muscle. You've met him before.
Yes,
he's
I have.
huge. So
he's a big guy.
He is. So, but I know I've enjoyed, it's nice having a sports guy from Sports Cloud here on Hot News Talk Radio.
My sometimes updated sports blog.
Yes.
Called Sports Cloud.
And that's your Twitter handle, right?
Yes, it is.
At Sports Cloud. So if you want to follow Keon, please do that. I know he would love to have you following him. Well, let's get into some sports, and then we want to talk about your show here in a little bit too, and what you've got planned for it. But we were talking off the air, top 5 quarterbacks. If you had a NFL team and you had your top 5 quarterbacks, you had your wish list, what would they be, and in what order?
My wish list would be Rodgers, Brady, Roethlisberger, Luck, and Romo.
Now, wait a minute. Hey, everybody. He is a Redskins guy, and he said he wanted the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, Tony Romo. Anyway.
I actually talked about it a little bit on Clutch the other day, about how you kind of just root for your team's colors.
Right.
If the Redskins picked up Tony Romo today,
that'd be different. He would no longer be a Cowboy. He would be
right, which is how I'm basing this ranking on. I'm removing the jersey, which I hate so much.
Okay.
And just saying purely based on talent. If that person were to become a Redskin, would I want them?
As a head coach, you would first select Rodgers.
Yes.
Then you would select Brady.
Yes.
And then if you had to fall back to number 3, it'd be Roethlisberger.
It would. I think the theme here with all these guys except for Brady, what I like about them is that they're a little bit mobile.
Right.
Roethlisberger is very big, so they can all play behind teams that don't have a great offensive line.
Okay.
So they can move around, they can get away, but they can still throw the ball extremely well. I like that. And so that's kind of where my rankings tend to fall.
Okay. All right. And I agree. I would say Brady would be my first choice, and then Rodgers. But I think Russell Wilson would be my number 3 choice.
You'd put Russell Wilson at 3?
Yeah, I like him. I mean, he has a winning mentality, and I think, and he's a leader on the field. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. He and Ben, he probably wouldn't want to box or wrestle Ben Roethlisberger, but that's okay.
That's a big guy.
Yeah, I would say my number 4 guy would be Andrew Luck, and then number 5 would be Ben Roethlisberger. No Tony Romo. He doesn't even make the top 15.
Not even the top 15.
Oh no. And no, Peyton Manning wouldn't even make the top 20. He
Well,
might be my 32nd choice. Peyton
Okay,
Manning.
well, I have some issues with that, just out of the necessity of everything. I would take Peyton Manning over Robert Griffin, which almost happened actually.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's see what Robert does this year. And I know he's already had a concussion or something, right?
He was supposed
He
to.
tripped in the locker room or something like that. And
He fumbled the ball on the field, and then he dove on it,
my
and
head
then
hurts.
two players jumped on him.
Yeah.
And the team said he had a concussion. He said he didn't have a concussion. So we've got conflicting reports, and they were just like, "Well,"
but he went to the wrong sideline, so that may tell you something. No, I'm kidding. He did not.
Also, another thing for him is that he's been kind of grumpy with the media lately. So they've been asking him questions like, "Why did Coach Gruden leave you in so long?" And he was like, "You have to ask Coach Gruden. I just work here."
Well, you know what? That's
I like that answer.
Not a bad answer at all. It's better than Marshawn Lynch. I mean, you have to.
Next question.
Yes, and he got fined $75,000 this week from the NFL for being what did they call it? Non-responsive.
Yes.
After the NFC title game,
so they settled that. So he's not going to pay the $75,000, but if he doesn't talk to the media,
then he does.
Then they double it.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
He
nice.
pays the $75,000 and at least another $75,000 after that.
Nice. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Better him than me.
Right.
And then Wednesday was National Dog Appreciation Day. And so what did the Pittsburgh Steelers do?
Well, of course, they signed Michael Vick.
Absolutely. That's who I would
killer.
Oh, there we were protests. And all. To me, that's funny. To me, that is pretty funny, and I love dogs. I don't want any hate mail about you don't love dogs, but I think that the timing of that's just something you can't make up.
No.
That's just to me.
If they had just thought about it.
All right, your quarterback. So you've got Rodgers, Brady, Roethlisberger, and then Romo. Where I don't know, but Andrew Luck. So you like him?
I'm a huge Andrew Luck fan. I have been since he was at Stanford. Mm-hmm. He's got such a great knowledge of the game. I'm very mad at the Indianapolis Colts for having Peyton Manning and
Andrew Luck.
Just losing at just the right time to get Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad.
I agree with you. I think he's a great student of the game. He's somewhat, mobile, but he's to me, he's a leader and he has that will to win. And I think that's very important.
Yeah. I think Andrew Luck's mobility, by the way, is very underrated.
Yes, it is. Well, he's not a big guy. I think that has something to do with it.
He looks huge. And I think a lot of people were surprised that when they did the NFL Combine, he ran like a 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds. That wasn't slow at all.
No, not at all.
He topped that at like 21
but he's
miles
from
per hour.
Stanford, so I guess they figure that he's more of an intellectual than an athlete.
Yes.
But, all right, what do you think after 2 preseason games? And I know they're 2 preseason games. What do you think about the number 1 and number 2 draft picks, how they're playing, and what do you think their impact is going to be? And that would be Jameson and Mariota.
I think Jameson and Marcus, they look the part. They look like the number 1 and number 2 pick. Like that's what you expected when you saw them. And the game seems to have slowed down for both of them in preseason game 2, especially Jameis. Jameis was throwing the ball all over the yard.
He looked like a pro quarterback last year. I'm talking about just if you saw him. And he's got a great arm. Now, he's not the quickest guy, fastest guy on the team.
Not at all.
But he's got a good arm, and I think he has the confidence in his arm, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see how that goes. But I think he's a pretty good headsy, instinctual type player.
He is, and you can see it's a two-edged sword with Jameis. He's either on top of everything and he's making all the right decisions, or he's a little cocky, believes in his arm a little too much, and then he tries to fit the ball into tight windows, and that's where the interceptions come. But he's a really smart guy. You can see that he understands the offense well already. And I think what has impressed me the most about Marcus Mariota is I was worried about how he would look under center, and he looks really good.
He does, and we talked about it off the air. When he gets into trouble, his first inclination is not to run. He stays in the pocket. He especially the second game, he seems like he steps into the pocket more and is doing his check downs, which, that was the big argument with him. How would he do under center? And he seems to be doing okay.
He had that Oregon spread attack behind him. And so you're wondering, like, how much is he just throwing to the most open guy? And he was going through his progressions. He looked at receiver 1, then 2, and then found receiver 3 in the end zone and stepped up in the pocket and made the throw.
I mean, I think they're both going to do well, and I think it's going to be an interesting season. As you are with the Redskins, the Titans. I'm a Titans fan, and it has been a long suffrage since they made the last Super Bowl.
I understand.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about Keon's favorite college football team, my favorite college football team. And then later on this hour, we're going to talk to you about what Keon has planned for Clutch and how you can participate in it. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, without a doubt. Now we're hot news, talk, sports, traffic, weather, radio. We've got it all covered. Why in the world you would listen to anything else is beyond me.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Costa, host of the Costa Report, every Sunday at 9 a.m. Did you know that 1 out of 10 Americans will be diagnosed with what is considered to be a rare disease, and that it could take up to 3-5-8 years to diagnose that disease? Find out how my next guest, Jared Heyman, is using the internet to cut that time to less than 3 months. Don't miss Jared Heyman this Sunday at 9 a.m. on the Costa Report, right here on AM 1240. Hot News Talk Radio.
Here you are, working to keep your customers happy and to manage your cash flow. IRS problems are the last thing you need, but here they are, flapping about you like vultures. Get help from Eric Pelton and his team of accountants at EJ Pelton Company. Audits, letters, proposed return changes, 1099s, penalty threats. Pelton Tax Resolution Services brings peace of mind and helps you keep more of what you've earned. EJPelton.com. Offices on Brainerd Road and in Saudi Daisy, just north of the Bilo. That's EJ Pelton. Call 622-3156. Think ahead, 622-3156.
When my brother and I opened the first Jets Pizza, we believed if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300-plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese and 1 topping, now just $11.99 for a limited time only. Jet's Pizza, the best pizza in town. 3600 Hickson Pike.
Life is short. Eat better pizza.
Let's get Jets. Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
If you have the DTs, the shakes, because your phone is on the fritz, you have nomophobia. You need help. Your telecom doctor is in. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall. Cell Surgeon yanks open the ribcage of your phone, pries out the dead heart, and puts in the beating life that you lead on your cell phone. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out? Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall next Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life. Mention Hot News Talk Radio and get 10% off.
This is America Now with Meghan McCain.
Al Gore running is crazy. You're flying around in your private jet all over the world, and you want average Americans to care about the environment. Don't you think you should be doing your part as well?
Meghan McCain, weekdays at 7 p.m.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
Yes, it is, and it is a happy Friday. It is Friday, all day Friday, and beautiful and lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee. Before we go any further, On Wednesday, March the 2nd at noon, there is a rally for Lieutenant Commander Timothy White, and it's organized by Chattanoogans for Justice. You can go to their Facebook page, Chattanoogan for Justice on Facebook, if you need any other information, and we would love to have you down there. That's going to be downtown in front of the federal building there on Georgia Avenue, and it's for Lieutenant Commander Timothy White, and that's going to be March the 2nd. And that's at noon. So instead of gorging yourself with fatty foods on noon on Wednesday, why don't you do something healthy and that would provide wealth to the community? And that would be come to the rally for Lieutenant Commander Timothy White, and just let he and his family know that we believe that he's a hero and that the Navy should not prosecute him. My name is Eric Judd. This is the Mr. Judd Show. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. We have the digital drive after me, with used to be called the kid. Now he is called the adolescent, and he will be here. He said this is going to be a high kick Friday. He is fired up. I mean, fired up. When he smiles at you and shakes your hand, Keon, you know that the adolescent is on fire, and it's a high kick Friday.
My question is, how long until we call him the adult?
Well, he's been here 3 years as the kid, so we'll see how he does the adolescent.
Okay.
And he said he wanted to go to, not to adult, but maybe a young adult. He wants to make that nice progression.
That's true.
So, and you're going to be following him. That's a tough act to follow.
It is. I actually enjoy
the Prince
that show a lot.
Yeah, the Prince of the radio station, and you have to follow. And at least I'm his warm up act, you know. But look, I know we have a great lineup here, and we're going to add to it on Monday, which is the 31st of August. You know, right now we have Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity in the afternoons. We even have Hot News at 5, which is the only local news cast at that time on any radio station, where we're going to give you news, and we're going to give you traffic, and we're going to give you weather. That way, make sure we get you home safe. And then after that, Cowboy Up with Tex will be back, and we're going to have an update on text here in just a minute. But now we're adding Clutch to the lineup from Pete Rose's grandson, right? No, he's not.
No relation.
The same last name, that's it.
Same last name. I actually have a picture of Pete Rose up on my wall, though.
There you go. See, have you ever bet on a baseball game?
I have not.
There you go. There you go. See, that'll give you something to do. But we've talked off the air, and here's what we're going to do this great college football season. We'll see who is the best prognosticator of games. Keon and I are going to have a little challenge, and we are going to pick 10 games a week. Is that good? Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
And one week I'll select the 10, and the other week Keon will select the 10, and we will come on and talk about them that week. And then the following week, we'll probably give each other a hard time for picking the wrong teams and give you your record and all that. So if you are a gambling person, I would listen to this show and take my advice. I mean, if you want a guaranteed winner, you need to take my advice on these.
I don't know if you want to lose your money.
There. Oh, here we go. This ought to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
It'll be fun, and we'll make sure. I can guarantee you 2 games, 2 teams that will be in every pick we have if they're playing, and that will be the University of Texas and the University of Arkansas. So if they're playing that week, whoever their opponents are, we will put those in the schedule to make sure that will add just a little more fun to it.
Right. Just a little bit more suffering for the Texas schedule.
You know, we're going to talk about the Texas schedule and the Arkansas schedule here in just a little bit. And I was looking at the Texas schedule, and it's not a fun one. It you know.
Open against Notre Dame?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And the whole schedule, if you look down the schedule, I mean, it's not something that, you know, people can't say Texas has a cakewalk or anything like that. If they, wherever they go at the end of the year, it's been earned tremendously. So we're going to talk about that a little later, but kind of give us a real quick overview of what you have planned for your show weekdays from 1 to 2.
Clutch is basically just a sports show. I go around all the topics of the day. I'm hoping on Fridays to talk a little bit more high school football, and when the basketball season starts up, a little high school basketball also. And I just basically go around the world of sports, the big sports stories, give an opinion on those stories, and sometimes I interact with my
human beings.
Yeah,
with my
brother specifically, because he's a huge NBA fan, and I have a friend named Tristan who comes on the show sometimes. He's a huge NASCAR fan, so have him break that down for us also.
And we are the official NASCAR station here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. This week they're off, but they'll be back next week, and the chase is heating up. So make sure you listen to us. You know what else, Keon, is we have NFL football.
Yeah, we have Thursday night football.
We have Sunday,
and
Monday night.
It's a doubleheader on Sunday and Monday night football also. Yeah.
Keep in mind, for the first couple of weeks, NASCAR will come into play. That was our first girlfriend, and we don't want to leave her setting and not dancing. So we're going to dance with her first, and then we'll work the NFL around that. But you are going to have NFL games here at Hot News Talk Radio. So we have to say it's Hot News Talk Sports Radio, right?
Well, I don't want to be confusing.
No.
So you'll find sports here.
You do find sports, and we're adding to it all the time.
And we're a growing station, and
Yes.
we have a lot to offer now. I mean, we've got a loaded lineup.
Oh, we do. I mean, with Professor Tulis from the David Tulis Show, which he wants to be called the David. He said if Donald Trump could be called the Donald, I want to be called the David. I like to call him DT. Like when he walks, I say DT's in the house, like that, and he's he says I am the David.
I'm the David. But you know, it's a perfectly reasonable request.
I agree. He wears a bow tie, and when a man wears a bow tie like that, the style he wears it, and with the authority that he wears it, he can be called whatever he wants to.
I'm not going to argue with him.
So, yeah. But the David Tulis Show is from 9 to 11. Now, you want to listen to Professor David because he is the meat and potatoes of the radio station. And then you have me. I'm like the fluffy dessert. After you about 10 minutes after you've eaten, it gives this taste in your mouth like, what was that? But then you have the Digital Drive with the one and only the Adolescent. And then we are going to have, starting on Monday, Clutch with Keon Rose.
Clutch. It's like a burrito at a Mexican restaurant, just a little too spicy.
Oh, it is. It'll run
spicy.
right through you. So
yes.
Hey, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. We're going to talk about your Texas Longhorns, my Arkansas Razorbacks. And right now, all the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia fans are going, whoa, wait a minute. Do you know where you live? Yes, we do. We do. But we're talking from the heart. We're talking from the heart.
I talk SEC football on Clutch.
See, I've got a little piece of the SEC over there with Arkansas. Arkansas, Missouri, what? The SEC? But no, we proud to be in the SEC. My name is Eric Judd. This is the Mr. Judd Show. And what are you doing for lunch today? I suggest you eat lettuce. No dressing, just lettuce.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
This is America Now with Meghan McCain.
Al Gore running is crazy. You're flying around in your private jet all over the world, and you want average Americans to care about the environment. Don't you think you should be doing your part as well?
Meghan McCain, weekdays at 7 p.m.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the southern state. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
NASCAR, Laura Ingraham, David Tulis, Coast to Coast AM, and CBS Radio News. Chattanooga's news, talk, and sports leader.
News Talk 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
I am so glad of my new opening and went to ashleymadison.com. Didn't have to pay this time, and I got this nice young lady. Yeah, I kind of tickled her a little bit, and then that's when she said, "Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show." I have to take a cold shower after my show every time, but that's a whole different story.
Oh, boy.
This is the Mr. Judd Show. My name is Eric Judd. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. And there's many ways you can hear us. Of course, you can hear us on your AM radio. You can hear us at hotnewstalkradio.com. Or if you would like to get in this 2015, you can go to the TuneIn app, which is free. Very simple. If you have a smartphone, download it, and you can get us anywhere, anytime. And if you see something coming on.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. As rain from Tropical Storm Erica continues to pelt parts of the Caribbean, Florida Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency.
If it comes out of Hispaniola intact, we would probably be looking at a stronger tropical storm aiming at some part of the state of Florida early next week.
Dennis Falcon with the National Hurricane Center. Virginia teenager Ali Amin has been sentenced to 136 months in prison for supporting ISIS. Amin had pleaded guilty to conspiring to provide material support to the group. A standoff continues in Rowan County, Kentucky over gay marriage.
Because your phone is on the fritz, you have
This is to any couple, gay or straight, despite a ruling from a federal judge and a decision by the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denying her appeal. She's being sued by the ACLU on behalf of 4 couples.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News, we report, you decide.
There's more to Fox News Radio than meets the ear. Go behind the headlines and join the conversation on the hottest stories of the day on the Fox News Radio Facebook page. Be a part of the Fox News Radio Facebook fan community. Post comments and tell us your opinions. See behind-the-scenes photos and videos and post your reactions to the stories that matter to you. Click the like button on Facebook and connect with breaking news and features like Fox in the Fast Lane, House Call for Help, and more. Go to facebook.com/Fox News Radio.
Weeknights, we're busting out a brand new lineup. First, market fraud, government abuse, corruption. At 5, nothing's off limits on money with Melissa Francis. Then, from bloated bank fees to consumer scams. At 6, Jerry's exposing the issues impacting your wallet. Plus, get smart market insight and trusted analysis you won't find anywhere else. At 7, Lou Dobbs is all business. And the first and last name in business, Cavuto, shedding light on the biggest stories making headlines at 8. Only on the Fox Business Network, giving you the power to prosper.
Okay, we're back after that. Fox News had that breaking news about the hurricane. That's got Hurricane Erica. That's not my sister. Well, but who knows? Okay, we are back, and we're going to try to do this the way we should do that. So let's get into Texas football. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'd like to know what you think. I know the schedule is brutal, but how is Texas going to play, and what do you think their record's going to be? And like you said, they kick it off on September the 5th with Notre Dame at Notre Dame. That's not fun.
No, it's not. I don't necessarily see how Texas beats Notre Dame in this one. I think that this is a good challenge for them, probably a good growing game for them. I think they're going to lose that game, partially because I don't know what that offense wants to do. They switched to a up-tempo, hurry-up offense this season. They don't have a quarterback that they like.
And they don't have a quarterback that can run that or has learned to run that system yet, too. So
no, Tylen Swoops doesn't look like the guy. And
that's going to be a tough. I'd say they're going to lose that one. But at least they get Rice the next weekend.
Which is nice.
Very nice. What do you think about California is actually coming to Austin, going to be playing I hadn't heard a lot from the Bears of California, but I'm going to give them a win on that because that's going to be at home, and that's really is going to be a pretty defining game for them that early in the season, so they look like they can at least take control of some of this.
Yes, and Texas plays California every so often. This is Jim Mora Jr.'s 3rd year as head coach there, and he's doing a good job turning that program around. I think Texas has a really good defense, though. I like Texas's defense, and I like it at home.
Well, now this is California, not UCLA, and I think more is at UCLA. So this is California. I know they play UCLA some. That's okay. But then they get into you're talking about the heart of the schedule. They have Oklahoma State come in, so they have 3 games at home, which that's going to be a tough game. That is going to be a really tough game.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma State was a team that really turned it on near the end of the season. They won like 7 in a row. Yeah, that's a tough game.
And then they go to TCU, and TCU's number 2 in the nation,
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and mark that one.
So
Trevon Boykin is going to do things to that defense
it's not going to be. Pretty.
I don't know if you can even televise it.
Comedy's not pretty, and sometimes college football's not pretty.
No.
But then they've got the Oklahoma game, which is the Red River game, and that's always a big game. I think they've got a shot in that game.
I'm gonna pick Texas. I pick Texas every year to win that game.
Well, you should.
At no point do I ever choose Oklahoma. I can't physically bring myself to do it.
Something tells me they've got a shot in that game, and then they're off a week, which is good. They probably need it after those 3 games, and then they play Kansas State. Now, Kansas State is not the team that they normally are, but they're still not a bad team.
They're not a bad team, but they're between quarterbacks this year, so I'm not as worried about them as in years past.
And they have Kansas State at home, so that may help. Then they have Ohio State. They have Kansas, which I think you and I and what about 9 other people could beat
the Kansas Jayhawks. Yeah.
But then West Virginia, and that's going to be an interesting game. West Virginia, it's actually at Morgantown, so that's a long way to travel.
It is the way I see it. I think with the Texas schedule, I like the second half of this schedule better than the first half.
Absolutely.
A lot of these second half teams are changing quarterbacks this year, and
that's good.
They're in flux, and you've got an opportunity to beat some inexperienced guys before they get good.
Well, they have an open date. Then they have Texas Tech, which they should take care of pretty easily. They're not going to be very good.
Tech is probably worse than Kansas.
Yeah. And then you got Baylor, so you have to figure that's a loss. Last game of the season, and they're playing them at Baylor. So what do you think? You looking at 8-4, or are you looking at 7-5?
I'm going to be optimistic and say 8-4.
Okay.
I don't necessarily.
I think 8-4 is. I think it's maybe fairly realistic because I think they're going to grow during the season and especially during that last half of the season. And Baylor's really the only obstacle. All right, let's go to my Arkansas Razorbacks right quick.
Let's do it.
Yeah, should have a big breakout year. I know Jonathan Williams, their big running back, went down, and now they're saying he's going to the NFL, but that's okay. They have a stable behind him.
And that offensive line is
killer,
first or second in the entire NCAA.
Yeah. I mean, they're the largest, I think, in the NCAA as far as weight-wise and height-wise and all that. They start with UTEP. That should be a win, and Toledo should be a win. Then they play Texas Tech,
which
should be a win.
That should be,
and it's at Arkansas. So last year they played them at Texas Tech. Then they get A&M, Texas A&M, and that's actually in Dallas. And I think they beat A&M.
I do too. A&M's probably one of the weaker schools in the SEC.
I agree. And then they travel to Tennessee, and I think that's going to be a very interesting game. Both programs are on the way up. At heart, I'm going to say Arkansas wins that just because of their running game, and they've got a pretty good defense coming back too.
And I like Joshua Dobbs for Tennessee, but if Arkansas controls the game, keeps the ball on the ground, which
he will not be a factor.
Brett Bielema, tends to want to do.
He's going to do.
That's how.
Then they go to Alabama, and I think they lose at Alabama. Auburn comes to Arkansas. I'm going to say that's a loss. So I think right there they have 2 losses. Then they have UT Martin, big deal, at home, Ole Miss at home, and LSU at home. I think they lose to LSU. They beat Ole Miss. They beat Mississippi State. And then I think the big game again this year is going to be Missouri. I think they beat Missouri because it is at home. And I think Arkansas has a great shot at going 9-3. And with some luck, they could beat LSU
very easily. LSU has this thing where they lose games that they should win. So
that might be it.
You can do it.
So I think 9-3 for Arkansas, and I say 8-4 for Texas. And I say you and I would be two happy people, would we not?
We would.
Yes.
Yes, I'd be pleased. And when we're happy, audience is happy.
Absolutely. I mean, and I just tell everybody right now, if Arkansas beats Tennessee, that Monday, if you're a Tennessee fan, you do not want to listen to this radio. In fact, that Monday, that Tuesday, that Wednesday, that Thursday, that Friday.
Just go ahead and give it a pass.
Now, if they lose, I'll have my excuses. Don't worry. You're listening to the Mr. Judd Show. My name is Eric Judd. This is Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. Tell somebody today to listen.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
This is America Now with Megan McCain.
Al Gore running is crazy. You're flying around in your private jet all over the world, and you want average Americans to care about the environment. Don't you think you should be doing your part as well?
Megan McCain, weekdays at 7 p.m.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the southern state. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
NASCAR, Laura Ingraham, David Tulis, Coast to Coast AM, and CBS Radio News. Chattanooga's news, talk, and sports leader.
News Talk 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
All right, I'm calling Roger Ailes right now. If he interrupts my show one more time with Fox News, he and I are going to have a battle royale. And I think I can take it. What do you think, Keon?
I think you've got a good shot.
Yeah, I think I've got him. My name is Eric Judd. This is the Eric Judd Show. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. We're on AM radio. We're on YouTube. You could see Keon and I smiling, bubbling faces right now on YouTube. At last looked, I think we had about 3,500 viewers on YouTube. And I know we stream out at hotnewstalkradio.com. We got about 8 million listeners there. And then, of course, our AM listeners. So we're one of the fastest growing radio stations in the nation, maybe the world. And that's because we cover Chattanooga, and everybody wants to know about Chattanooga.
More or less. I mean,
Yes.
that's where we...
Our Chattanooga Mocs kick off their season on the 5th of September, and they're playing Jacksonville. And this is always a big game. Jacksonville, they do a great job of traveling. We need a sellout there, and I think they're wanting to do a blue out where everybody wears their blue mock shirt and shows their support for the first game of the season. They're rated number 7 in the nation, and Jacksonville's number 8. Some polls have that flipped around. Either way, that is going to be the 5th of September at Finley Stadium. So let's get out and support our Chattanooga Mocs.
And rivalry games are always fun. And if you want to see two teams that do not like each other at all.
And it's odd because they normally play the first game of the season. It's kind of like NASCAR where they do Daytona at the beginning of the season. So they have their first rivalry game, and it's a big rivalry game at the beginning of the season and usually sets the tone for the season. So let's go out and support the Chattanooga Mocs, and let's cheer them to victory. All right, let's talk about your show a little bit. You start your show on on Monday. Is it Thursday or Friday? I don't know. I've been drunk and in ditch for 2 days, and I have no idea where I'm at.
It's all the days of the week, but it starts Monday.
Starts Monday, and you're going to be Monday through Friday, and it's 1 o'clock to 2 here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and it's
the first local sports show.
It is
of the day.
The only local sports show at that time. Like you said, the first one in the afternoon. So you're going to be ahead of everybody. I tell you what's going to end up happening. I know this is what happens. The other shows in town will end up using your show for show prep. So I know they'll do that. I know they'll, all of a sudden you start listening to them. You go, man, I heard that on Clutch. I know it's just what happened. That's what most of them use in the afternoon. I know this, the number one talk show host in the nation. Everybody knows who that is, talks a lot. He uses a lot of my show for his show prep.
Really?
But I'm a humble guy. I don't care. I don't mind giving it. Sean Hannity mentioning me all the time. And I've told him, I said, Sean, baby, you don't have to do that.
It's not necessary.
No, but I don't mind doing the work for these people. And I know you don't either.
Not at all. I usually have the opposite approach, which is that since I've been filling in for Tex,
right,
Cowboy Up with Tex, I listen to everything all day and then try and do something different by the time the show comes around.
I'm glad you brought him up because we got to give a Tex update right quick. As everybody knows, he left Waco, Texas about 2 weeks ago, and he's on his way to Chicago. He's on the Chisholm Trail, And I talked to him and I said, man, he's really tired. And I said, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel like I've been shot at and missed and blanked at and hit. And I'll let you figure out the blanked at, because, text doesn't mix any words, and that's what he said. So, and it rhymes with hit. So, that's just text. But he said he's almost to Chicago. He said he hopes to be there tomorrow. He's going to wrangler those doggies in, and then he's riding a horse back to Chattanooga, and he said he'd be here Monday at 6 p.m. when it's Cowboy Up with Tex. We'll be back, and Clutch with Keon will be in his normal spot from 1 to 2,
which I'm excited about. Tex is going to have some serious chafing problems.
Oh gosh, it's amazing. He's already bow-legged. You could drive a Beetle through his legs anyway, but he's really going to be bow-legged, And and he's been chewing tobacco. He told me, he says, between the coffee and the tobacco, his teeth are so stained. I was like, you don't have to tell me this stuff, Tex. But he's, I'm sure that's the first couple of days back. He's going to talk about what happened on the Chisholm Trail.
I fully expect it. I can't wait for the update. I don't know if he's even prepared for.
Well, see, I've talked to him every day, so I've kind of got the inside scoop. And he said, let's just let my listeners know I love them, and I hadn't forgot about them. So, and we were talking by cell phone, but he's been out of cell phone range. So he, Tex, he kind of goes back to the old way. So he started sending me courier pigeons. So that's how we've been communicating the past week.
Oh wow,
is by pigeon. Yeah, I know it's it's a lost art form, but that's the way he communicates. That's Tex. Cowboy Up.
He's down to the roots.
That's it.
As a person can possibly be.
But following us today, you and I, is the Digital Drive with the one and only, the adolescent. He said it's High Kick City. That's what he's going to be talking about. Something else about UAV drones. South Dakota passed this new law where they're actually going to be able to arm drones with tear gas and with tasers and stuff. And I think he's going to talk about that too. But he said he was feeling his oats and he wanted to do some high kicks.
And you can watch that on YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Radio.
You can. And normally I know people like to watch me juggle cats in the breaks, but with Keon here, he and I talked. So I actually left the cats at home. Normally the studio's full of cats.
The cats got a day off today.
They did. They were sleeping.
They appreciate it.
They love it. You should hear them purr, how loud they're purring. Oh boy. When I'm juggling them. And it's they love it. It's a lot of fun. I love it. It's my hobby. So that's what we have going on. And then, but don't leave us on the weekends. We have the #1 show on the weekends on this radio station, and it's Set the Hook with Pat Rose. If you have not heard that show, and I think it comes on at noon. I think it comes on now, noon to 1.
I believe so.
So you need to listen to that show when you have an ex-professional wrestler talking about bass fishing. There is nothing more Southern. If he were only riding in the NASCAR series while he's doing his show, talking in his professional wrestling voice about fishing, we'd have everything covered.
And waving a Confederate flag,
there
obviously.
You go. There you go.
Then he'd be as Southern as it got.
Or maybe he's driving the General Lee. See, that's true. We should suggest that to. Well, he listens to my show. I bet his next show, that's what he's doing.
I'm into it.
Yeah, and normally we would have NASCAR on Sunday, but there is no NASCAR race. But we're going to have NFL football this Sunday. And when I talked to the program director, Peter Cottondale, he's our program director. Boy, what an obstinate man! The unhappiest human being I've ever met in my life. Anyway, I asked him about NFL, and man, he just went off, and he said he would let us know what's going on. So maybe we'll break in and let everybody know later, or maybe by your show you'll know what's going to be on. But and keep in mind, Clutch is still going to be at 6 to 7 today, correct?
Yes, for the last time.
Cowboy comes back. Before your show, you follow Russell Stroud, news director. What about his hats he wears on those? He wears these most flamboyant hats. If you're not watching YouTube, you're missing all this. So anyway, it's simple. YouTube, you just YouTube.com, then you type in Hot News Talk Radio. But his hats that he wears
sombreros with tassels.
Oh, every day is something new. He must spend a fortune just in hats.
I don't know where the money comes from. I wish I had.
Well, he's fabulous. He's like the prince.
That's true.
Prince of the radio station. Anyway, he covers local breaking news, and he also covers traffic, and he covers weather. He wants to make sure you're going to get home on time. But we have a great lineup here, and we're adding to it on Monday with the one and only Clutch with Pete Rose's illegitimate grandson? No.
No.
Can't even say that. Don't even mention Pete Rose.
Can't say that. Not related to Pete Rose, Malik Rose, Derek Rose, or even Pat Rose.
Or any of those Roses.
No, nobody named Rose.
How about Rose Bush? No,
not even that.
You could run for president then. So anyway, it's been you know what? I'm glad you've got your own show, but I do miss the conversations we have when you're in here. But we're going to have those. Like we said, we're going to have the challenge, the college football challenge.
So I'll still stop by and visit. Won't leave you alone.
Okay. Hey, we've got a call. Hold on just a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Keon, question. Do they ever in sports, I'm not really into sports that much, but I'm just going to ask you this as far as, since you seem to know the inside scoop, do they ever put ringers in there or lay guys back, before the final blow, or create the illusion that something's happening when it's not happening in order for the final victory or win, like deflating footballs? Can you give me an example of that?
I'm not sure if you like. Is it fixed?
Yeah, I think they're saying it's fixed, and we're running out of time here. But I tell you what, will you handle that on your show, the Clutch Show?
I will, but I will say the deflated footballs really quickly.
Yep.
Not anything to do with the fixing.
No.
The Patriots deflated the football because Tom Brady likes to throw a soft ball.
Yep.
And
they still beat the living poop out of.
They caught him at halftime, and it didn't matter.
No, it didn't. It didn't. So, caller, thanks for the call. And you know what? That's what this is about. Is people call in and ask questions like that, and so I want to thank you for being part of my show. You have a great weekend. Make sure you listen this afternoon, 6 to 7, Clutch with Keon Rose. And then on Monday, you better have your butt in front of a radio or maybe in front of a computer. Listen to hotnewstalkradio.com or maybe the TuneIn app so you can listen to Clutch at his new time. The Keon Rose, the one and the only, the Clutch at 1 o'clock. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Sky Aerial Services uses advanced drone technology to give you a better perspective and depth of your property and project. We offer aerial photography and video for your business, farm, home, or advertising campaigns, as well as editing services to complete the experience. Call us at 423-521-0284 and see how we can help you tell your story about your business, property, or project. We work with real estate professionals, both commercial and residential, developers, engineer inspectors, surveyors, ad agencies, auto and boat dealers, mapping services, insurance inspectors, corporate marketing, charity events, weddings, and photographers. Our consultation is free. Call 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284, or visit our website, skyaerialservices.com. Sky Aerial Services. The sky is our limit.
Among Lincoln's unconstitutional acts were launching an invasion without the consent of Congress, blockading southern ports before formally declaring war, unilaterally suspending the writ of habeas corpus, arresting and imprisoning thousands of northern citizens without a warrant, censoring telegraph communications, forcing citizens to accept as legal money pieces of printed paper unbacked by silver or gold, confiscating private property, including firearms, effectively gutting the 9th and 10th Amendments, robbing, raping, and burning the homes of undefended Southern civilians, not just men and women, but as Sherman would freely admit in his memoirs, children as well. Even worshipful Lincoln biographers and historians called him a dictator. In his book, Constitutional Dictatorship, Clinton Rossiter devoted an entire chapter to Lincoln and calls him